Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right with your diet, eating healthy, choosing natural snacks like nuts, and yet your body just doesn't feel as good as it used to? Maybe you've noticed more bloating, fatigue, or even trouble sleeping. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. It turns out, some foods that are considered healthy, especially certain nuts, aren't always the best choice as we get older. I remember my uncle, now in his early 70s. He's always been health conscious. Every morning, without fail, he'd grab a small handful of mixed nuts, cashews, pistachios, a few macadamias. He believed they were keeping his mind sharp and body strong. But after a while, he started complaining about feeling bloated, having a racing heart at night, and sometimes even struggling with sleep. It wasn't until he took a closer look at his diet that he realized maybe those tasty little nuts weren't helping him the way he thought. You see, as we age, our bodies process things differently. Our digestive systems slow down, our metabolism shifts, and certain organs, like the kidneys or liver, might not work as efficiently as they did when we were 30 or 40. That means the foods we used to eat without a second thought might start to affect us in surprising ways. And yes, that includes some nuts. Let's start with one of the most popular nuts out there, salted cashews. Oh, they're delicious, creamy, crunchy, just the right amount of salty kick. But here's the thing. Salted cashews are packed with sodium, and for those of us over 60, sodium is something we really need to watch. Too much salt can raise blood pressure, put extra stress on the heart, and strain the kidneys. It might not seem like a big deal at first, just a handful, right? But over time, a daily dose of salty nuts adds up, and your body feels the weight of it. Another issue with cashews is that they're high in oxalates. Now, I won't get too technical here, but oxalates can contribute to kidney stones, something nobody wants to deal with, especially in our golden years. Kidney stones are painful, disruptive, and they can throw your whole system off balance. If you've ever had one, you know exactly what I mean. So while a few plain, unsalted cashews once in a while probably won't hurt, regularly munching on the salted kind might not be the best idea. And then there's pistachios. A friend of mine, Miss Linda, a retired schoolteacher, used to eat a small bowl of pistachios before bed every night. She thought it would help her relax and sleep better. But after a few weeks, she started having frequent bloating and some sleepless nights. Turns out, her body just wasn't digesting the pistachios as easily anymore, especially when they were salted. Pistachios are tasty, but like cashews, the salted versions sneak in more sodium than you might realize. But probably the most misleading of them all, macadamia nuts. They look fancy. They taste rich and buttery, and they're often marketed as a heart-healthy superfood. But macadamias are also very high in fat. Now, I'm not saying fat is bad. Your body still needs healthy fats, but the type and amount matter. And macadamia nuts, while delicious, can be difficult to digest in large amounts. For some older adults, especially those with slower gallbladders or liver function, eating too many high-fat nuts can cause stomach discomfort, indigestion, or even raise cholesterol levels. I get it. It's hard to say no to your favorite snacks, and nuts have a reputation for being healthy, so it feels counterintuitive to think they might be causing harm. But it's all about knowing your body and making small, thoughtful adjustments. The good news? You don't have to give up nuts completely. In fact, in just a moment, I'll tell you about another type of nut you really want to be careful with, one that me, Now, we've talked about cashews, pistachios, and macadamias. Three types of nuts that can cause more harm than good if we're not careful. But there's one more nut that often slips under the radar: peanuts. Yes, peanuts. I know, they're a classic. Whether it's peanut butter on toast, a handful of roasted peanuts during an afternoon snack, or those little paper bags they hand out on airplanes, peanuts have been a staple for decades. They're affordable, convenient, and familiar. But here's what many people don't realize. Peanuts are technically not even nuts. They're legumes. And while that might sound like a small detail, it actually makes a big difference for our health. You see, peanuts are one of the most common food allergens out there. And even if you've eaten them your whole life without a problem, your body can develop sensitivities as you age. That's something not enough people talk about. I once met a gentleman in his late 60s who started getting frequent headaches, joint stiffness, and digestive issues. He didn't think much of it until he took a short break from peanut butter. And guess what? The symptoms eased up. Turns out his body had slowly built up an intolerance over time. But beyond the allergy risk, there's another reason to be cautious with peanuts: mold. Peanuts are especially prone to something called aflatoxins, which are toxic compounds produced by mold that grows on crops like peanuts and corn. In small amounts, most healthy adults can handle them. But as we get older, and especially if we're dealing with any liver issues, aflatoxins can put a real strain on our system. They've even been linked to liver damage and inflammation. And if you're someone who enjoys your peanuts roasted and salted, you're getting hit with the double whammy: salt and potential toxins. Not to mention, many store-bought peanut butters contain added sugars, oils, and preservatives. All those extras can quietly add up, leading to blood sugar spikes, weight gain, and increased inflammation, especially for older adults who may already be managing things like high blood pressure or diabetes. Now, I'm not here to tell you to throw away everything in your pantry. That's never the goal. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. We've spent decades developing habits and routines, and sometimes all it takes is a gentle shift. Maybe instead of reaching for salted peanuts or cashews, you try a small handful of walnuts or almonds in their raw or lightly roasted form, with no added salt or oil. Not only are they easier on your system, but they come with added benefits like omega-3s and fiber that truly support your heart and brain. And speaking of routines, here's something I always suggest to friends and family. Listen to your body. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. If a certain food leaves you feeling sluggish, bloated, or just off, that's your body sending you a message. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shouts, but it always tells the truth. You've made it this far in life with wisdom and strength that can't be bought or borrowed. And now, with just a little bit of intention, you can use that wisdom to take even better care of yourself. The good news is that once you start making small changes, your body often responds quickly. Better digestion, deeper sleep, a clearer mind. It's amazing how much better we feel when we're not carrying around foods that quietly wear us down. Coming up, I'll walk you through a few gentle swaps you can make today. Changes that still let you enjoy the flavors and comfort of snacking, but without the hidden downsides. Because food should nourish you, not slow you down. So, now that we've explored the 4 types of nuts that might not be the best choice as we age, cashews, pistachios, macadamias, and peanuts, what do we do next? Do we stop snacking altogether? Of course not. The goal isn't to give up the foods we enjoy, but to choose them more wisely. To snack smarter, in a way that supports our energy, digestion, joints, and heart. let's talk about alternatives. Because the good news is, nature's already given us some powerful options that are not only safer, but genuinely nourishing for older bodies. One of my personal favorites is the almond. Just a small handful of raw or dry roasted almonds gives you protein, fiber, healthy fats, and even a dose of magnesium. Great for muscle health and blood pressure. They're easy to carry, satisfying, and they don't come with the same risks we just talked about. Another great choice? Walnuts. These little brain-shaped wonders are packed with omega-3 fatty acids that support brain health and fight inflammation. They're one of the few plant-based sources of this powerful fat, and they've been shown in studies to help with memory and cognitive function, something that becomes even more valuable as we get older. Just a few each day can make a difference. If you like a little variety, consider hazelnuts or Brazil nuts in small amounts. Each type of nut has its own benefits, but the key is to go for unsalted, unflavored, and minimally processed whenever possible. And always listen to your body. What feels good for one person may not feel great for another, and that's okay. Aging gracefully means becoming a little more in tune with what our body needs right now, not what it could handle 20 years ago. You know, food is deeply emotional. It's not just about nutrients. It's about memories, comfort, habits. Maybe your dad used to crack pistachios on the porch, or you always had a peanut butter sandwich packed in your lunchbox. Letting go of certain foods can feel like letting go of a part of ourselves. But it doesn't have to be a loss. It can be a transformation. When you shift toward foods that truly fuel your body, you start to feel lighter, more energized, more clear-headed. And that's a gift worth embracing. Sometimes people ask me, is it really worth making all these changes at my age? And my answer is always, yes, it is. Every single day you wake up is a fresh start, a new chance to care for your body, your mind, and your spirit. You don't have to do everything perfectly. Just take one step, then another. Swap out the salted peanuts for a few almonds. Pass on the cashews and reach for walnuts instead. These little shifts add up. They really do. And if you ever slip up, that's human. That's life. Don't let it stop you. Just notice, adjust, and move forward with kindness toward yourself. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for vitality, for freedom, for feeling your best in this beautiful chapter of life. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed certain snacks that make you feel better or worse? Do you have any go-to foods that give you energy and keep you feeling great? Drop a comment down below and let's share some wisdom with each other. This community is a place for encouragement, support, and real conversation. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know, and it lets us keep making content just like this. Simple, uplifting, and made with you in mind. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Remember, it's never too late to make choices that support your health. You deserve to feel strong, joyful, and well every single day. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Wishing you peace, energy, and health at every age.